Well, I am delighted to welcome the Prime Minister here. At your tables, you have translation mechanisms, and we will have simultaneous translation as we discuss with the Prime Minister the extraordinary work that he has done on behalf of women in Japan. And this is a personal pleasure for me because I have followed the Prime Minister very closely. Welcome, Prime Minister Abe. We are very honored to have you here. I want to start by referencing your UN General Assembly speech last year. You emphasized your commitment to promoting the advancement of women in society. Could you explain, sir, what motivated you to make that commitment?
人口減少社会に直面をしています。その中で私たちは成長していくためには女性の活力を活用しなければいけないという現実にあります。そのことを考えたときに女性が参加すると世の中はもっとうまくいくということに気づきました。企業においても女性が参加することによって生産性は向上する。そして平和構築においても女性が参加した方が物事はうまくいく。我々日本人はそのことに気づき、そして日本こそ先頭ランナーに立つべきだ。こういう決意のもとに昨年国連総会において女性のエンパワーメントについてお話をさせていただきました。
Well, it certainly was music to many of our ears to hear a global leader from an advanced country make the case for women's participation in the formal economy. And you have also pointed out, Prime Minister, that Japanese working women face obstacles such as unequal pay, the difficulties of finding affordable quality childcare, other family responsibilities. And you have put together a set of policies called Womenomics. And this is a strategy that is really at the core of your economic policies to revitalize the Japanese economy. Could you describe some of the specific policies and actions you and your government are taking?
Yes, last year, when I delivered my speech in the United Nations, after that I received a letter from you. And you mentioned unleashing the potential of Japanese women and women the world over to contribute fully in the workforce is essential for economic progress. So you mentioned unleashing the potential of women, and you said onward only. And your letter really encouraged me. I was so much heartened. Japan is a traditional society. Regarding the advancement of women, things are lagging behind, I suppose. So women, while working, will rear children. We have to have a friendly society. We don't impose any choices on women. I think the choices are for women to make. We shouldn't impose any choices. For per year, 200,000 openings for childcare centers were promised, and already 180,000 spots were opened for childcare centers. In the case of home care givers from the Philippines and from other countries, we would like to invite people who can do the job of home caring. To the corporations, I have asked at least one woman, either foreign-born or Japanese-born, at least one woman should be appointed on the board. I've asked the business community. In political sphere, recently I reshuffled my cabinet, and the women ministers increased from 2 people to 5 people, 5 women. So in terms of OECD ranking, our position jumped from 29th to the 11th in terms of the number of women ministers. Important position in my party was given to women too. I think we have a good outcome in the last year and 9 months. 820,000 820,000 women are participating as a new workforce in Japan. By 2020, my goal is that 30% of the leadership position would be occupied by women. Public servants, 30% will be women. We have already decided on that.
Well, that's worthy of applause. I'm very impressed with the comprehensive approach you're taking. Not only providing more services like childcare and home care positions that will enable more women to go into the workforce, but also leading by example, increasing the number of women in your cabinet, in your party. All of that is very important because it sends the right signals. Now, you recently hosted the World Assembly for Women in Tokyo, and from all of the reports I received, Milan Verveer and others of our group were there and were very impressed. And it's a small matter, perhaps, but they were quite impressed that you, Prime Minister, and your wife spent a great deal of time at the conference. You know, we're all used to having conferences that the head of state or government opens and then disappears. But you went from discussion to discussion. You asked questions. Could you describe maybe what you either learned or what impressed you by having this World Assembly of experts from around the world in Tokyo?
From the 12th to the 14th of September, while 2014 was held in Tokyo, this was a symposium under the theme of creating a society in which women shine. 100 women leaders gathered under one roof from the whole world. Mrs. Lagarde, Managing Director of IMF, Ms. Clark, Administrator of UNDP, and from UN Women, Madam Nuka came, and Ambassador Russell from the United States, Ambassador Kennedy took part in the conference. I participated in the various sessions and breakout sessions. The how-to-do proposals, 12-point proposals that were made from the conference. It says that top management commitment is needed. We need to obtain top management's commitment for the women's participation. And also, the unprecedented drastic reform in work style has to be introduced. In Japan, you see, the people are regarded high when they work late. If they work until 3 hours of the day, I mean, people are regarded very important and great. If that was the work style, women cannot work. So men's working culture has to be changed. This is positive for women and men. For example, internet could be utilized more. At home work could be possible. That could enhance productivity. Work-life balance must be changed from the traditional way. So all inclusive home caregivers must be given more positions, and the system should be enhanced. So a lot of proposals were given by WOW 2014. There are so many things that we have to do in Japan. It means that if we do those, we will have a greater room for women to participate. That will grow Japanese economy. That's what I thought.
Well, again, we want to give you a round of applause for your thinking and your commitment. And the point you made about work styles is very important. Different cultures have different work styles, but it's well known that the hours for being away from home in the work environment in Japan for men is just extraordinary. Men leave home around 7 o'clock, oftentimes don't get home till midnight or 1 o'clock. And as you say, it's a sign of their commitment that they work so many hours. But that is not compatible with the responsibilities that parents have to their children and to their older relatives. So I particularly appreciate what you just said about trying to tackle the culture, because oftentimes what we find is laws are changed, regulations are changed, but custom and culture remain the biggest obstacles. Prime Minister, before you and I had this opportunity to sit down, we announced a very significant commitment to trying to get more girls into secondary schooling. Japan has been such a generous donor. I want to personally thank the Japanese people through you for the commitment that Japan has made around the world on so many humanitarian and other important issues that will improve the lives of people around the world. Now, we had made a commitment together here at CGI, and I would like to ask if Japan would be interested in participating in this commitment. I don't want to put you on the hot spot, but we have a lot of witnesses. And there are 5 pillars to this commitment: ensuring that girls can attend and complete primary and secondary school, making schools safer and more secure, improving the quality of learning for girls, supporting girls' transition to higher education and employment, and cultivating local leaders to champion this work, because this is not something that will be sustainable if people don't change the culture. And I thought about this when you mentioned changing the work culture in Japan. There are many cultural obstacles to advancement for girls and women around the world, and one of them happens to be the cultural, customary concerns about girls going on to secondary education. Do you have any comments about that, or is there any commitment that Japan would be willing to undertake to work with us on this?
Not only in Japan, world over, women have to shine in the society. Just simply because she was born a woman, a girl, the educational opportunity is deprived. Women are deprived from jobs. For example, my mother, because she was a woman, unfortunately, she was unable to go to university. In the past, that was the culture in Japan. That's in the past. But last year, in the United Nations, I made a promise. Through ODA, Japan will provide $3 billion for the support of women, and already more than 50%, $1.86 billion have been sent. Japan is a country which honors a promise. So to the UN Women, we are increasing the support by 5 times. We will be opening an office in Tokyo. Education is important, as you say, and nurturing a local leadership very important. Not only one, all 5 commitments we would like to support. Japan would like to support, and that is my promise.
Well, I think you can all see why I have been incredibly impressed and enthusiastic about the Prime Minister's commitment, because he doesn't just talk the talk, he walks the walk. And what he has done since his really historic speech at the UN last September is to put into motion so many of the changes that will make a difference, first and foremost for women and girls in Japan, also for the economy of your country, which has historically been strong, but we can't ever rest on what happened in the past. We have to constantly be improving. And then thank you so much for your commitment to UN Women and your commitment today to the Clinton Global Initiative commitment to improving secondary education for girls. Thank you so much, Prime Minister.